Welcome back to the Reality Report, everybody's report. What's happening? Always good to be back with you guys in our community and our chat crew. Let me welcome aboard my friend and brother from another mother, Mr. Tony Silo. Tony, what is happening, my man?
Nothing much. Getting ready for this Super Bowl. How are you tonight?
All right, brother. I'm good. I'm good. Uh, Getting ready like you. I see the chat crew is all prepared. Let me say hello to Dave T. Cinnamon Girl, as always. Kelly, Dave again. I was going to give you break your chops a little bit today, but it's always a pleasure to see you, Dave. Chris Gorky, Project Darpo, what's happening? Mike F., if you join us, some beautiful comments. Thank you so much. That was great stuff last night. And everybody out there and whoever winds up joining us. Tonight we'll give you what we think Super Bowl wise matchup, as well as you guys giving us your thoughts on this. With no further ado, let's jump right into it, and let's say we're gonna start with the offenses. Tone, what do you whichever way you want to go, whether it be Kansas City, San Francisco, talk to me about what you think offensively. You see, or you think maybe they should try to do, not do?
Well,
What do you think?
let's compare the quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers.
Absolutely. Sounds good to me. Let's go. Let's do it, baby.
Let's start at quarterback, obviously. You got Patrick Mahomes for the Chiefs, and you got Brock Purdy for the 49ers. And I will say, I didn't watch much of Purdy. I watched enough on games, I guess, that were blowouts when he looked very confident. He's a different quarterback in tight games. That's what I'm going to say to start that out. I'm going to say, to me, it's not even close to compare the two quarterbacks. I think Patrick Mahomes is football fields ahead of him, worlds ahead of him, and about $56.4 million a year ahead of him. He makes 957. He makes 957,000. Mahomes makes 56 million.
Yeah, that's it.
So that's I think tell us what we need to know.
Yeah, I think.
I'm just gonna say Mahomes can do pretty much everything, including control the team in the huddle, simming them down, get them in position. Purdy looks like a different person since the playoffs started, in my opinion. So
kind of like the game is going, a little too fast for him in those big games that we just saw recently.
It's like the moment is too big for him.
The moment might be too little big. Yeah, so it concerns you. In other words, it concerns you what we see on Sunday. If those moments were big, it's only going to get bigger.
Well, what we should do here is we got to look at the running backs, we got to look at the wide receivers and the tight ends.
Absolutely.
So let's start with the what do we got here? San Francisco running back. All right. At running back, they got Christian McCaffrey. Craig, you want to talk a little bit about him?
Yeah, hands down. It's not even for what San Francisco does. Hands down. You got so many things to worry about with him from the other side of the ball. Christian McCaffrey is a special player, to say the least. He's somebody you need to worry about. First down, second down, third down, which in essence, he's a 3-down back. He doesn't come off the field. He runs in between tackles. He can take it the distance. He catches the ball. He can take it to the house from anywhere on the field, breaks tackles. Bottom line, he is a big problem. Big problem. Big.
Well, let me put it to you this way. We all know he came out and was drafted big time. All right? We all know what he did in a bad situation in Carolina. I mean,
Absolutely. Great point.
He's lucky. He's lucky he didn't get killed. He ran for 1,459 yards. He averages 5.36 a carry, and he had 14 TDs. Christian McCaffrey is all-world running back. You know,
Absolutely.
there's not much you can knock him on, but he does have a tendency once in a while to get injured, but I don't think we're going to see that here.
But his accountability is availability, and he's been injured a couple times, but he's been solid, and he's playing Sunday, and it's a problem. It's a problem.
Exactly. Now what we got over here is Isaiah Pacheco for the Chiefs, and this is where we're going to set it up for you. He's got 205 carries, 935 yards. He averages 4.56 yards a carry and 7 TDs.
Yeah.
Tell me what does he do for his team that he needs to do that you see?
What I see from Pacheco is he's a more of a pounder. He's not. He is a guy. Don't get me wrong. He is a guy that can make splash plays. He's not Christian McCaffrey. He's more of a in between tackle kind of guy. He does have bounce. He's got quick feet. He's got a good bounce to his step. Got good wiggle. But he loves contact. Not that Christian shies away from contact. Pacheco plays to contact, looks to take on the hit, looks to give out the punishment as a running back rather than receive punishment. I don't think he's a guy that can take it to the house from anywhere on the field. He can be caught from behind. There's a difference between your 40 speed and your game speed. There's a difference. I'm not saying he's slow. He's not. He's a good back. He's very good. He's not Christian McCaffrey. And he's a good receiver. He can do it all. He's not Christian McCaffrey. You don't have to, in my opinion, Kansas City has to account for McCaffrey on every play. Not that San Francisco is going to ignore McCaffrey, but they're not Pacheco. They're not game planning for Pacheco. They can't game planning for Kelsey and Mahomes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's how I feel about that.
Okay, so we know who's got the better running back. We got a first-round draft pick, and we got a seventh-round draft pick. That should tell you pretty much the way that looks.
Gives you a little bit,
But he's in a powerhouse offense, so he's going to
talk back.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. So now we're going to go to the wide receivers. All right.
Let's go.
Kansas City's got Marquez Valdez Scantling, and they also have Rashee Rice.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Don't know much about them because Mahomes, Kelsey names all over TV. So if you're an avid player, if you're an avid fan, you're not going to know as much about them. But here's what they can do, what I see. They can get the job done with Mahomes as their quarterback, a decent running game. I'm not going to take that away from them with Pacheco, and an awesome tight end. As much as I don't like what he does off the field, that's not my business. I like their wide receivers as a group because they have the perfect person throwing them the ball. All right. And what I like about them, everybody said at the beginning of the year, they're not that good because they got off to a rocky offensive start. I'll tell you why. They're younger players who had to get used to Mahomes' mobility, left, right, underhand passes, overhand passes. They're starting to gel at the right time. I think if they stay together longer, you might see better things from them longer. The problem they're going to have is staying together in today's day and age with all of this money being thrown around.
Very hard. Salary cap era, very hard. Very hard.
All right. So what do you think of the wide receivers for the Kansas City Chiefs?
Yeah, I'll touch on what you just said. I'm not crazy about Scantling, Valdez Scantling. They've had more drops combined as a wide receiver group than I think any Kansas City Chief wide receiver group since Andy Reid has been there. Now, the flip side to that is this: Rashee Rice is a special player. Have they allowed him to be that special player? Has he had a couple of drops? Yes. You do have to account for him, do they? He's a guy that can take what they say as take the top off the defense. He can run right by you. If you don't pay attention to him, he is dynamic. He has great what they call yak, yards after catch, rack, run after catch. He can do all of that. He can run every route. He's a special player. The thing is, there's one ball. You got Travis Kelce, you got Pacheco. Does he get it to everybody? You know what I mean? So, but the bottom line is they had a lot of drops, and you do count as like you say, as a group. We're talking as a group here. Everything's a group. So as a wide receiver group, I wouldn't say concerned, but yeah, the drops do concern me, and they've had more than any group in the Andy Reid era, and this Mahomes last 4 years, 5 years of them being at the top of where they are. Not having Sammy Watkins, like we just talked about before we came on the air, Tyreek Hill, and
Time out. I'm looking on the advice of our great girl, Cinnamon Girl.
Go ahead, Sin.
Tony is out for the Super Bowl.
What?
Tony is ineligible for the Super Bowl. He's been deemed officially out of the game as of 3:38 p.m. today. Thank you, Cinnamon Girl.
Wow.
What a nugget we got with Cinnamon Girl.
Yeah, great job, Cinnamon. Unbelievable. Is that amazing?
Craig, now, Craig, tell me some more.
Right, yeah, so now it's planned fucking D. Excuse my language. Wow.
Okay.
That's a nugget.
Let's do it like this. You got one, two.
Beautiful. I love it.
You got Rice and Marquez Valdez St. Clair there. Kadarius Toney is officially out. Can't even put him in if he feels good. He's been deemed out.
Yeah.
That changes up the game. I'll tell you what, I like the third wide receiver. I like the third wide receiver a lot on the Chiefs. I thought he was getting screwed because Andy Reid goes by chain of command when he has a team.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I don't see a big difference. I'm going to be honest with you. What do you think?
Kadarius Toney was having a lot of issues attitude-wise. Now that we know, I'm sure there's a lot going on that we don't know about. But from the Giants traded him not because of his talent, because of his attitude.
Correct.
He had a huge year, his first year with Kansas City in the playoffs, I believe it was. He had a good season, and then his attitude started to creep in again. He started to have some key drops, a key fumble, and before you know it, you're on Andy Reid's shit list. I'm sure something happened here that we're not aware of, that they deactivated him, because even if he's just used as a decoy, it's important for him to be on the field.
Okay, you ready? I'm going to tell you so you can comment on what I just got.
Yeah, go.
An Instagram account associated with wide receiver Kadarius Toney went live on January 28th with the man claiming he was not hurt, pointing out profanity-laced rant that is injury designations on the Chiefs' official injury report. This guy is not hurt. Toney has not played since week 15 of the regular season. He was ruled out of the AFC. He did not play in the AFC title game due to a hip injury and personal reasons, attitude in parentheses, as his partner gave birth to their child this past weekend. Toney was ruled out of the divisional matchup versus the Buffalo Bills due to hip and ankle injuries. Miami Dolphins with hip and ankle injuries. He did not play. So we got thank you, Cinnamon Girl. I was not
awesome. And you see what you just said about attitude? Again, I won't go back to this. That was the show last night, but we're talking about this. When I did a deep dive on him with scouting him coming out of college in Florida, forget the player. The tape, the game film was beautiful. The tape was beautiful. Every knock on him from a lot of insiders, a lot of executives, attitude, a lot of off-field stuff, a lot of clashes with coaches, a lot of fights, a lot of this, a lot of bullshit, a lot of locker room shit, and it's reared its ugly head again. That's why these guys don't. if Joe Judge did anything right with the Giants, well, Joe Judge drafted him. I think it's stable that traded him, but that was the best thing they ever did was get rid of a cancer. And I don't mean to use that word. You know what
No, I don't want to say that word.
No,
They
bad
got rid
word,
of a
bad word.
problem.
They got rid of a problem. They got rid of a big
problem.
problem, and he was a problem. And he's become one there, and Andy Reid's not going to put up with it.
Okay, so
But
then
that hurts the team. Selfish.
What we'll do here is we'll read off the wide receivers for the 49ers who are all eligible.
Yeah.
So we're going to have Brandon Ayuk is eligible. We're going to talk about him in a minute. All right.
Mhm.
We also have, where is he? Debo Samuel. I think Samuel's a exciting play coming out of the back. I think he's got decent hands. I don't think he's got the greatest speed in the world, but he makes up with it with his cuts ability and awareness of the field.
Quick feet. Yep, absolutely.
You know what I mean? He's quick, but he's not
quick.
he's not a home run guy you can send deep all the time.
Everybody's
So you got a young player who you know is going to be up the coach's ass and quarterback's ass with Kansas City now, saying, I will do what you want. And then you got these guys. Debo's had some attitude problems. We all know that. He's also had some injuries because he gets hit a lot. Brandon Ayuk, I like a lot. I think he's actually got better hands and he's a better pure wide receiver than Debo. But Debo can do so many different things
in the run game. Yeah.
Tell me about the 49ers receivers in your opinion. Then I'll go to the next question.
Yeah, I don't think it's again, my opinion. That's what makes this great. We all have one. I don't even think it's for what San Francisco does and what they try to accomplish, what they do with the group they have. I love their group a lot more than Kansas City's group, but yet my pick at the end might surprise you. Because I'm telling you, I like San Francisco's group above Kansas City's. I'll take Ayuk, Debo over their group any day of the week.
So you like the wide receivers for the 49ers better than the 49ers for the Chiefs?
I do.
I'm going to disagree for one reason.
Beautiful.
They don't have Patrick Mahomes throwing them the ball. They have Brock Purdy. They have Brock Purdy, who looked like Howdy Doody up until they got the lead in the fourth quarter.
I'm waiting for you to ask me who do I like, Mahomes or Purdy.
I think I know that already.
That's good.
If you don't give the right answer on that, I might have to have you checked out.
Look at Cinnamon Girl. She's the best. She said Ayuk is the number one. I agree with you.
I agree. I think Ayuk's the best. I just said I think he's the best pure wide receiver in the game. But I think because of the man throwing in the ball and they're that close in receivers, I'm going to go with the Chiefs wide receivers. Not for nothing else than the quarterback. So I'm not saying they're better.
Yeah.
Factoring in Brock Purdy to Mahomes throwing the ball, what do you think overall?
Talking about, in my opinion, you got a guy that's a game manager, maybe a little bit better than that, maybe more. I don't want to take none away from him. I think you got a system quarterback compared to a guy that can go anywhere in any system, do anything, maybe even play with a blindfold on and do fucking scary things.
All right, let me ask you.
That's the difference. That's the difference.
Joe Burrow has made a Super Bowl, correct? Or the championship?
Yeah. No, they lost in the Super Bowl, didn't they?
Okay, so he has been. I was pretty sure. They
lost. Joe Burrow went to the Super Bowl. They beat Kansas City and then lost to, I forget. I'm sure Gorky or somebody will tell us offhand. I forget. The Rams. Somebody paid. I don't know. They lost some. Tampa.
They lost to Tampa.
I don't know who they lost to. But I think
they lost to the Rams. They lost to the Rams, I believe.
Rams.
Right, well, here's what I got to ask. Burrow's gotten to a Super Bowl. Before he got to the Super Bowl, they gave him a big advance that year. Okay?
A huge contract.
So he didn't go into the Super Bowl on that 4-year deal that you get to start out. Mahomes going to the Super Bowl was in his third year, got that big contract, lost to the Buccaneers in that Super Bowl.
Yep.
I think that's a big tell. If I'm Brock Purdy, they're not even confident enough to sign me after 2 dynamite years against so-so teams. You know what I mean? When they played the good teams, I think the defense played unbelievable. I remember against the Eagles, they kept showing the defensive players with fumble recoveries, interceptions. I think it's telling a lot where they're going that he don't have a contract. He's got that minimal contract that he has. He could actually walk home with more from the Super Bowl than he made all year.
Yeah, I don't even believe they started talking money. I haven't heard anything about it.
Okay,
I lost you on
read
that
that
one,
today in debt.
What'd they say?
I read that as much as I can get on it today.
I
haven't talked to him about an extension.
Nothing. I haven't heard anything about numbers.
How many times today? I asked you on both phone calls today, what do you think the charge is about getting rid of Herbert? You know, maybe somebody who needs him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they got a pick or so from Dallas with Trey Lance being moved to Dallas.
Yeah.
They had a couple of other picks flip up and around. I don't know. I find it strange that they're not even giving him an incentive. They didn't even offer him any more money.
Especially you're talking about a guy. You're talking about a guy.
The guy got you.
It is strange. You're breaking up, brother.
Dak Prescott got $45 million.
Yeah.
I think it's over there. Hold on. Can you hear me now?
I got you.
Can you hear me?
I got you. Yes.
I think it's very strange. Dak Prescott, Josh Allen, they all got contracts before the 4-year was up. This guy's not even being offered.
Kyler Murray. Yep. Yeah.
I think if he wins the Super Bowl or not, I think he's got a problem.
That could be the case because you got to ask yourself, this guy is not even a first-round pick. He's a seventh-round pick, which means he works off of a 4-year deal with no option for a 5th year, whereas first-round guys do. That's why they usually get signed. You know, if you see it, they'll get signed in their 3rd year. They'll get the big money. Purdy's getting close. I don't know, if this is year 3 for him, but he's got, they're going to have to make a decision on him soon, whether it's, and I think that's what they're saying. You play like shit Sunday, you might not be here. So you're right. I believe you're right into where you're going with this, that he shits the bed on Sunday.
Let me run this by you. Well, let me run this by you. You know football. You've been following football for a long time. With all the money the 49ers organization got, off of merchandise, off of TV, off of everything, it looked like you were going to the Super Bowl early in the year. With him as your quarterback, would you have thrown him money just to give him a fucking beef up in his head? You know what I mean? This guy, to me, is working on a lack of confidence from the team.
Well, I think management is basically co-signing that. We're not sure if we believe in you. I mean, right? Money talks and bullshit walks, right? Look, Kyler Murray was just given fucking $400 million when they didn't have to pay him nothing. He had another 2 years before they even had to worry about franchising him, and they gave him a boatload to a guy. That's another story that probably shouldn't have got that. And here it is, a kid that's taking you to a Super Bowl, and you're not even talking nothing with him. Who knows what's going on behind the scenes, but the optics don't look good. Let's say that. At minimum, the optics don't look good.
Okay, here's a statement Craig he made. See if you can read anything into this. He pulled up to the final day of practice before leaving to the Super Bowl in his Toyota, when everybody else was pulling up in Mercedes, G-Wagons, trucks, cars, Suburbans, Maseratis, and the star quarterback had a Toyota. Not knocking Toyota, but it's a used Toyota.
I know what you're saying. And usually when you read stuff like that, getting to the press, that's coming from the agent, the player agent that's letting that be known. Don't think that we don't know that we're driving a Toyota and everybody else has got a Mercedes. We'll just use that. So that's usually coming from the player agent saying we're not happy. That's usually where that comes from. It's not coming from the team. The team's not putting that out. That's coming from somebody representing that player. I can guarantee that. Somebody's not happy.
A 49er front office man. This is his words to the insider. There's no way for the 49ers to work out a contract extension until 2025 at the earliest. Wow, that's the end of the 4th year. Number two,
Yep.
Purdy is making more than double his base salary in 2023, and he still only cracked $900,000.
Yeah.
I don't see the team negotiating anything until he shows he can play every down in every situation of every game.
Yeah. Well, you got questions there. You just had to pay Nick Bosa a boatload. You probably got a couple other guys you want to pay. So they're going to have to make a decision. Let's say, this is hypothetical. Let's say they bomb out Sunday and he looks terrible. You're probably looking at them going with another direction with a quarterback because you reset the clock again now. Now you don't have to worry about it. You draft a kid that makes no money for 3 years, then you make a decision again.
That ain't going to work.
No, I know, but that's what a lot of teams do. They know every 3-4 years they're going to draft at a certain position. Usually you want to solidify your quarterback position. But in this case, the optics and the evidence is showing, unless you show us we're going to win a big game with you, you're not getting paid. You're going to go to your 4th year. Then we'll decide if we franchise you or not. Because remember, they can franchise him twice. But when you franchise a guy, you got to pay him a lot more. You got to pay him within the top 5 of that position.
Let me throw this by you.
Yeah.
It's in the chat. It's in the chat right now. What did I say to you? What did I say to you today? I think Jim Harbaugh might do.
Yeah, you said you thought you loved Jim Harbaugh, loves J.J. McCarthy. We talked about it last night too, and you could see him maybe making a move with Herbert because he didn't draft him. And they would get a boatload back for him. And technically, they have some holes there, right?
Right.
I'm the one that believes they wouldn't do that, but it's very possible.
I believe he might. I believe they might try and get Young in a trade for Bosa on the defensive line so the brothers play together. I think they're going to try and get more experience, and I think the 49ers are going to go for it next year. There's no way you can make 2 Super Bowls with the same coach who's an offensive guru and have no established quarterback. It makes no sense.
Yeah, I'll just, I love this. So, this playing devil's advocate. I don't see, but we've seen it before. I just don't see them trading Herbert at all. But there is no buts. I would bet just about anything, and I don't gamble. There's not a fucking chance they trade Herbert. But we've seen crazy shit happen. I think that would be a big mistake, but you never know. Harbaugh did not draft him. He did not draft him.
And as great as everybody's
right. Yeah, what has he done? I know what you're saying.
He had the 4th worst record in the NFL.
Yeah,
I don't care about personal or not. The quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely.
The quarterback should win you 6-7 games on his own stardom.
I got you. I'm speaking as if I'm the GM of that team, and I'm making the personnel decisions. In this case, it's Harbaugh who's making the decisions. I'm not trading him, but I'm not Jim Harbaugh, and I'm not getting paid to make those decisions.
I'm going to say San Francisco will try and initiate the talks. I don't know if the Chargers will bite.
Very possible. Very possible. Who else
could you go get? Who else could you go get if you're the 49ers? They're not going to go with a young player.
Yeah, you're not going to have nobody. Yeah, you're not going to have nobody on Herbert. A guy like Herbert rarely hits the market. Maybe you get a Justin Fields hits the market, who's not Herbert, and maybe they can. There's no way. I mean, there's a way, but you're going to move from 31 or 32 all the way up into the top 3 to get one of these top 3 kids. That means the score, the point chart would dictate you're going to probably have to give up 3 ones over the next 3 years and probably multiple players to make that kind of a move.
But Craig, if you're this close to a Super Bowl, why would you not make a home run trade? A Super Bowl makes you enough money and enough prestige in the NFL for a good 10-year run.
Yeah. I don't pull the plug. You're asking me. I don't pull the plug on that deal. I don't make that trade. I don't.
Is Russell Wilson going to be available? Is he happy with the?
Absolutely. Yeah, he'll probably be released. Yes, Russell Wilson, I believe, will get released before June. He'll be a June cap casualty. Absolutely, 100%.
I think Russell Wilson would be a decent fit with the star players they got in town. Decent.
I think Kirk Cousins is an upgrade. We could argue that all, till we're blue in the face. I think Cousins, they might see something that we're not seeing that they see as a play. And it could be a Justin Herbert, a Justin Fields. It could be the trade you're talking about. It could be a Kirk Cousins. It could be somebody that we're not thinking about. You know,
Kirk Cousins is a lot better than people give him credit for. He just hasn't been in that system yet.
yeah. Put him in that
That's my
system. Let's see what
opinion.
he does. Yeah, let's see what he does. Let's see what Baker
All right.
Mayfield does with them.
I think Baker's solidified in Tampa. It looks
Yeah,
like they're
but he is
close.
a free agent. He is a free agent.
But it said it looks like they're close to it.
Yeah, they're looking to make a deal with him. Absolutely. I agree.
I don't think they're gonna get that far.
Yeah.
Baker's also made a lot of money, and he loves living in Florida, tax free. Okay, so we go to the tight ends. We got Kittles and Kelsey. Let's just put it out there. Up until last year, everybody had Kittles a little bit ahead of Kelsey in some way.
Yeah, Kittle was highly rated. Yeah.
A lot of people. What do you see there? To me, they're even.
Yeah, I would have to say it's hard not to give Kelsey the nod here, only because strictly he is Mahomes' go-to guy now, especially without Tyreek being there. He's been Mahomes' guy for a while. He's his safety blanket. I just don't see Kittles being used the way he was being used. And if I go back to even 4 years ago, right, even if I go back to 4 years ago, I did this for a reason, in case you asked. Even in that Super Bowl, he had 4 catches for 36 yards.
Mm-hmm.
In that Super Bowl, that's with Jimmy Garoppolo. So what I'm saying is, I think he's got everything. Why isn't he getting the ball? I don't know. We got to look at the film.
My answer would be
I think it's Kelsey.
The regular
hands
season,
down.
the year they went to the Super Bowl,
He was young.
The regular season they went to the Super Bowl, San Francisco. They let Garoppolo throw the ball. They kept the ball so tight to Garoppolo's hands in the Super Bowl, he couldn't go with a tight end being slower to come out of the backfield. You know what I mean? If Mahomes was throwing Kittles the ball, it'd be the same player, if you ask me.
You're probably right.
I just think it's the difference of.
I will say this when it comes to Kittles. I think Kittles gives you a little bit more, and that's okay. We get it in chat. I think Kittles gives you more in the blocking game than Kelsey does. Kelsey is really split out a lot. Not that he can't block; he can block, but they really ask him to. He runs routes. He's more of a detached tight end than he is attached. He's more of a Y, what they call a Y tight end, than an inline tight end. The guy that's attached to the tackle. He's split out a lot.
All right.
So
now we went
over the
premier wide receivers, running backs, quarterbacks. We got Kansas City clearly at quarterback, tight end. I'm going to give Kelsey the nod because of who's throwing it. Definitely.
I agree.
Wide receivers. Who you going with?
I went with San Francisco's group. That's me.
So they got 2-1 so far, right? No, 2-1 Chiefs. Running back?
Mm-hmm.
San Francisco, obviously.
Absolutely. And I like Pacheco. I do, but it's hard to McCaffrey. No way. You got to go with San Francisco for me.
All right. So in the 4 areas on offense that put points on the board, we both agreed that San Francisco has the dynamics of better. Kansas City has the dynamics 3-2. Not a big thing.
No.
But I'm gonna say, I think Kansas City with the coaching staff and the plays and everything is a better team offensively. What do you think?
I said that, I'm going to give I think I said, and I won't give away my pick yet, but I got to agree with you. As much as I've given San Francisco the edge in position groups, Kansas City is the better offense, especially come playoff time, or especially what we've seen of late.
Now you break down defenses better than I can. So break them down, the 2 defenses, and tell me what you think, and I'll tell you who I like watching them overall better.
Yeah, I think they're very comparable as far as team speed. Linebacker. I'll start. You know what? Let's start up front, work our way back. Front
Yeah.
four for San Francisco. Um, you got Bosa. You got Buck Armstead. You got Chase Young on the other side, and you got my man Hargrave, um, Javon Hargrave on the nose, if I'm correct. They're as good as it gets in the league. I will say this: Chase Young has underwhelmed. Remember, I've said this.
Oh,
Chase
forget it.
Young has underwhelmed since he's been in the NFL. I'm not going to say he's been a bust. He hasn't, but he hasn't been that game changer like they thought they were getting for Bosa. He's still a solid player, can get to the quarterback. He's not the game wrecker like he's supposed to be. Now we'll go to the other side of the ball. San Francisco's linebackers, before I go to Kansas City, San Francisco's linebackers are as good as it comes when it comes to team speed. They're sideline to sideline guys. They tackle well. They can cover. They do it all. Kansas City on the other side can do the same thing. Their linebackers, Bolton, Gay, they're fast. They can tackle. They hit. They wrap sideline to sideline. So I think that's kind of a wash. If anything, I might give San Francisco a slight edge, maybe slight, maybe. Otherwise, it's a wash. Front four, you got more. Chris Jones sitting in the middle. It's almost like it's more about not the individual or the group. It's about the 11. And when it comes down to it, for me, the style of play that Kansas City plays against Purdy and what they do against everybody else, and it's pressure, 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 pressure with too deep zone behind it is going to work more than what I see San Francisco try to do to teams. I watched the last 5 minutes of the last time they played them in the Super Bowl. They tried to play a lot of match man at the end, and Mahomes ate them up. So if you try to play that man with Kansas City, even though they don't have Tyreek Hill, Mahomes can gut you because he can take off and run 30, 40 yards. Whereas Kansas City don't try to do that. They come at you. They pressure you. Now, will San Francisco make adjustments and change their defensive scheme to what they normally do and sit back and play a lot of zone stuff? We'll see. But I'm going to give Kansas City the nod here too, which I never thought I would. You would look at Bosa, Young, and Greenlaw and Werner and Ward and Kansas City and Halifanog is a big loss. And you would think, oh, San Francisco. Nah, when you really break it down, if you really break it down and really study this film and really get into it and dig into it, Kansas City got a lot of team speed. And they do things defensively, schematically, that get to the quarterback. And when you get to the quarterback, it wrecks the fucking game. And if you can wreck the game, you win the game. Therefore, if you don't want no more suspense, I'm going to pick Kansas City to win this game for those reasons.
All right, let's do this. In 2023, the Chiefs have allowed the fewest points per game in the regular season ever for the Chiefs. 17.
I didn't know that. I didn't read. I didn't.
I just read it a little while ago.
Yeah, no, that's great to share.
And they allowed the fewest amount of points in the playoffs so far out of every team, 13.7. All right. So the Chiefs hold the advantage on defense, according to the experts.
Right. And most people, right. You're right. Right. Everybody thinks San Francisco, but it's Kansas City.
All right. Their defense is ranked overall 4th in the NFL. All right. Here's why I'm going to give it to one team or the other. In I think 91, the Bills played the Giants in the Super Bowl. All right. Steve Spagnuolo worked as the right-hand man to Bill Belichick that year. They had a two-man line going at Jim Kelly and Thurman Thomas. They had 5 linebackers, and they had 5 linebackers with one floating between the defensive backs and the linebacking crew. All right, and they had 4 or 5 considering the play in the backfield on defense. I think Spagnuolo has the best defense he's had since he's with Kansas City.
Probably.
And I think San Francisco has the better athletes and better players individually.
Individually, absolutely. Yeah. Imagine that.
But if I had to pick a unit and a
unit,
coach,
that's what the game is.
I'm going with Spagnuolo, and I think their offense is not
powerhouse.
It hasn't put up the powerhouse points, and they're still in these games, and they always seem to get a turnover somewhere in a game. They also have, played pretty even up or ahead in both playoff games.
Absolutely.
San Francisco's had to come back in the fourth quarter in both playoff games. I'm going with Kansas City's defense, and I'm going with Kansas City to win the game, both because of coaches and a quarterback.
And me and you didn't have this.
Not
so everybody knows. No, we didn't. And you know what? This is a game. I hope it turns out to be a great game. I hope we go to overtime. I hope whoever bets the game wins the game. I have no horse in this race. That's just my opinion on it. I do think Kansas City wins this game, but anything can happen, right? What do you guys think in the chat? Wyatt Earp, what's happening, bud? So me and Tony both picked Kansas City. Tone, you know what you didn't discuss? Because I really don't know. What does the line look like in this game? San Francisco favorite?
San Francisco's favored by 2.5. At this point, I'm going to throw it out the door because you could bring it down to a half point. You could bring it down in a lot of ways. I think it's a money line either way. And I just like Kansas City better. I don't know. And we discussed this last week. We both thought that the Chiefs would be favored.
Yeah, I thought so, for sure.
I don't know what the hell happened here.
Yeah, that makes you wonder.
Unless they were trying to get money in on the 49ers. And you got to remember something. We're not going to big tell tonight. A lot of people get to Vegas tonight. And no pun intended, the game is in Vegas too. A lot of people usually go to Vegas for Super Bowl parties. I'm going to say the line goes down maybe a point and a half over the next 48 hours.
What does the under over look like? Do you know?
47 and a half. So
I was just curious.
Well, here's the thing there, Craig. It's an indoor fast fucking track.
Fast track, yeah.
So I got to think it over.
Kansas City plays there once a year, right?
Kansas City plays there once a year. The Raiders played there never, I don't believe. I'm gonna say 47 and a half. I don't usually bet until Saturday, most of the time Sunday. Right now, I'm going to say over.
You like the over?
I'm going to say right now I got to go over. Yeah. Because you know how the Super Bowls go. If the game is a 10-point game, they're going to just start celebrating and throwing points up, and it looks closer than it is at the end. What do you guys in the chat think?
Yeah, it looks like a lot of Chiefs. I love what Dave T says. 49ers got to go back to the Belichick defensive playbook. And I think what he's talking about is, and Davey, you tell me if I'm, a thumbs up, thumbs down. Maybe play with 6, maybe come out in a dime, 6 defensive backs, show a lot of different looks. Play with 7 defensive backs, rush 2, show Mahomes, keep changing it. You cannot show this guy the same thing time after time after time. You got to change it up and change it up down after down after down. Dave T. I'm trying to, you got to change it up. You got to change it up. Show them one thing, do something else. Show pressure, back off. Everybody. Fucking drop your nose tackle, put him in coverage. Shit that nobody expects. Belichick used to do stuff like that. He played one Super Bowl game. I remember they were saying there was 9 guys in coverage, and they only had 2 defensive linemen.
Right,
you got to be different.
My question is to the chat. I'm clearly going with Kansas City. What do you guys like, and what do you think about just the score of the Super Bowl for tonight?
Yeah, some scores. Let's see. Let's see if anybody can come close to the score with the winning team. Throw some scores out there. I'm going to tell you what. I'll start it off. I'll pick a score, and then Tone, maybe you pick a score. I'm bad at
Yeah.
this shit, but I'll pick the score here. Here we go. I like Kansas City to win this game 24-20.
So you got 44 points and you're under. I'm 31-24. I'm over Kansas City Chiefs.
There you go. Anybody else got a score out there you want to throw? Benny says 31. I don't know. I think he said he liked the Chiefs. So I think he liked the Chiefs. So he's got Kansas City maybe scoring 31 points here. Oh, Cinnamon Girl, 31-30, Chiefs, 61. Benny says 31-27, Kansas City. Good. I like that score. I like those numbers if I had a box. 31-30, Dave T says. I like it, guys. Keep coming in with the scores. Good stuff. I like it.
All right, I got to do this for Dave T. Dave
Do
T
it.
is a die-hard guy, and he wants the Bears to keep Fields. We got a problem, Dave T. All right, and I went last
I'm not
night.
saying it. You say it.
No. I don't have a problem if they keep him. I think he's just got the wrong people telling him what to do, and he needs another option besides DJ Moore. And I think if DJ Moore wants to keep him so bad, he better step up and play a little better too. That's my opinion there. There's something in the NFL called the Rooney Rule. Okay. Yeah. And that was discovered by Art Rooney. I think the last Rooney, or is it this Rooney? Craig.
Dan Rooney was the son, not the chief, not the father, the old timer. Okay, not the cigar.
So
the son, Dan Rooney.
Who's the owner now? Dan Rooney or
Art Rooney Jr. is the owner now. His brother Dan was the head. He passed away a few years back.
Okay. Art Rooney is the ambassador to Ireland. Art Rooney is also the new ambassador to African American players. Art Rooney also instilled in the NFL the Rooney Rule, which means you have to interview an African American before you can make a final hire. The Chargers did it with the guy Moore from Stanford. Okay. Art Rooney came out publicly and said, if Fields is available, I will trade for him in a second. Yesterday.
I know.
I seen it last night when we finished. I went back and looked up because I didn't know much about it, and I try and stay up to date with the chat questions.
Absolutely.
I think if he goes to the Steelers, and I think he goes right around the draft because Art Rooney don't want to play around no more. I think Tomlin will be happy as a pig in shit with a good quarterback, and Fields is a good quarterback in the wrong position over there. That's putting a lot on a kid who your team almost made the playoffs. I'm going to say from reading what I've been reading, and Dave, I'm going to give you the article. It says, it's Fox Sports, Bears DJ Moore. I definitely am on record wanting Justin to stay, but it don't look good. Okay? It's a Fox Sports news thing. It's breaking news on that. I'm going to say, knowing that Rooney's involved and his love of all players, black, white, green, or yellow, he goes out and does it. And I'm also going to say he does it because the Steelers were a couple of plays away from getting into the playoffs when Craig said, no, they're fucking finished. No, they're not, Craig.
Emotional.
They were 3 games under 500. What did I tell you?
Dave is going to love this. You ready, Tom?
Yeah.
The way I said the Bears should trade him and draft whoever they decide to draft, Caleb, Drake May, Jaden, whoever it is, I'm going to be the same guy that's going to tell you, bring him on over. We'll take him. And I'll be the first guy to pack Kenny Pickett's fucking suitcase and put him on a plane and welcome Justin Fields to the black and yellow, baby. Woo!
I'm going to tell you something else. I think Kenny Pickett.
Don't get mad, Dave.
If this trade happens, because if you're the starter, you can't stay where you are and become the backup. Unless it was an Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
I think Kenny Pickett packs his bags and goes home.
Yeah, take your ball with you.
And I think he's the backup quarterback for the Jets. Thank you
very much. Yeah. Some they probably should have did.
Dave T, I agree with you. Not about Caleb overall, about Caleb with the Bears. I don't see how you could pass on Caleb, but I like, what's the kid I said to you today? Drake
May? You like Drake May? You also like
I like Drake May better.
Yeah.
No, but I like Drake May
Yeah,
better for
like Drake May,
Chicago.
yeah.
But I do
Yeah.
think Caleb is the best quarterback. I
Yeah.
think Caleb's the best quarterback coming out. But
Yeah.
I think Drake May's a little bit more mentally stable for the bullshit that goes on in Chicago. Don't forget, they got the second largest media exposure to their players in the league. So I think
Great
May is
first.
stable with his family. He's made a lot.
Well,
He's worked a lot of money already.
yeah, we were talking about that today with the money, and we've
I would
already
love,
like last night's show. We were talking about the kid's been an all academic every year in North Carolina, every year since Peyton Manning.
right.
All
So,
academic. That means a lot.
According to the financials of their family's net worth went up 13.4 million since the NCAA allows payments to players. So he's made a nice chunk of change too, Craig. I just found that out on the way home. I was listening.
It's crazy. The
So
NIL money
I think Caleb would. I would love to see Caleb in a dome being another C.J. Stroud. I think him running around would be unbelievable. I found so much love for that kid last night I didn't have.
Hey, listen, it's possible
I don't think he's a Chicago guy.
It's possible Chicago keeps Fields.
I don't.
Or drafts May, or drafts Jaden Daniels. Who knows? We're just saying.
I think there's a big gap between the top two quarterbacks and the 3 and 4 quarterbacks.
Oh, there's a fall off. Absolutely, we went through that last night.
And I do think Caleb. I think Caleb's the best. I'm not going to lie, but I think May.
Well, you don't think he's a fit in Chicago? You worry about him in Chicago.
And I think Chicago might be nervous about. We just went through this with Fields.
Very possible.
Almost, that's only an opinion. So,
yeah, but that's why we have him. That's why we have him.
But I didn't know anything about this situation until last night, and I felt bad because I really didn't have an answer. I was always playing around, fucking around. I think Fields is going to Pittsburgh, is my opinion.
I think if he gets traded, we'll be in the mix. I think Pittsburgh will be in the mix. Yeah.
What if he stays in Chicago? What do you see happening with the Bears?
Well, then he'll be going into year 4, and he's got a new coordinator. He's got to learn all new terminology again. Now, some see that as well. He's a pro. Now, this will be the 3rd coordinator I think he'll had in 4 years. That's a lot. Now, I love his traits. I won't get into the breakdown of him, the player. It's a lot. Another coordinator, another year, different verbiage. He's a young kid. I'm not making excuses for him, but I'll stick to what I said. And it's the old rule. If I don't know what I have by year 3, by the end of year 3, I don't need to see what you could do for me in year 4. It's usually time to move on. Now, that might be the old way of thinking, the old way of scouting, the old way of reviewing things and looking at things. I still feel that way. And I just told you I'll accept him with Pittsburgh. That's how I think he's so much better than fucking Kenny Pickett. That's something different. I think the upgrade's higher. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think he's better on the Steelers than he is on the Bears?
Yes.
There's the difference. Why don't you tell us why? You break it down better. Go ahead.
Especially with the new OC the Steelers brought in, they're going to pound the ball with Najee Harris. And they're building up front already. Their offensive line started to gel towards the end. They'll probably address the offensive line interior-wise in the draft. I expect them to really pound the ball. You're not going to ask Justin Fields to throw the ball. You're going to ask him to, you don't want Justin Fields throwing, in my opinion, you don't want him throwing the ball in that 30 to 40 range. You don't want him doing that. You want to keep him in that. You want to keep him in that 17 to 25 range. You want to run a lot of play action. You want to use his legs. Yes. You want to do a lot of, a lot of boots, a lot of RPO stuff, but you want to establish that run game, and then everything works off of that. You have better receivers. I know DJ Moore's good, but as a group, Pittsburgh has the better receiving group, and definitely the better tight end right now than Cole Kmet. Pat Fryermuth is better as a blocker and receiver. Has nothing to do with being a Steeler fan. Nothing. It's about looking at the tape.
I also think he doesn't have to run as much with Najee Harris in the backfield that Pittsburgh has, and I think it would be a benefit for Harris even to get more yards because now in the run pass option, You don't know who the fuck's getting the ball and running.
Absolutely.
Is
It's
it
a different look.
Fields? Is it Harris?
Yeah, no, it's a huge
So I think he's an.
and you got a great third down
I
back in
think
the
you
kid
revive it
Jalen
for a year.
Warren. Yeah, yeah. I think
I think what
the
you
crazy
do.
thing
I think
is,
what you do in that if they make that. Guys,
yeah, you broke up there, Bo.
can you hear me now?
I got you again. Go ahead. We lost you there.
I think he's a better player. I think he's a better player. He makes the team better in Pittsburgh. I think there's too much frustrations and bad feelings with Chicago already. If you're a 23-year-old kid, 24-year-old kid,
Yeah,
and you see
absolutely.
your name in the papers every day, especially with
Every
social
day.
media, I think it's time you gotta let. I think you gotta let him go.
Yeah, he probably told his agent,
What do
"Get
you
me out
think?
of here." Yeah, look, the same way I said, Chicago should take a quarterback. I'm saying Pittsburgh should trade for the kid, and there's going to be other teams that are going to want. There's no shooing that Pittsburgh. I mean, there's going to be other teams like you said. Purdy, doesn't work out here. You're going to have great coaches going to be all over this kid. They're going to want to trade for him. He could change the market
I think he
in
just
this
fits.
draft. Yeah, it is a
Did
fit there. I think it's a natural fit. Yes,
do,
natural
let
fit.
me ask a quick question to back end it. Do you see these Pickens being wanted by many other teams?
Kenny Pickett, the quarterback.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, there's always somebody that's going to say, well, the coordinator was bad, this was bad, that was bad. Let's see. But when you really look at the tape and study his rookie year and his second year, the regression is so bad. I don't care who I could have been calling plays in the booth. I told you before we got on the air, when you watch what Kenny Pickett was doing, he knew where he was throwing the ball, breaking the huddle. His mind was made up. He was getting the snap, dropping back, not even looking, and just getting rid of the fucking ball. He was never making reads. He was never trying to go through progressions. He was already fucking shell-shocked and just trying to get rid of the ball as fast as he could and not get hit. That's a fact. When you get to that point, that's not good. And you kind of see that. Honestly, what's scary is I see more of an upside with Zach Wilson with the Jets, and that's scary when I can say that because
Well, Zach Wilson's also a true first-round pick.
No.
No.
But what I'm saying is both of them didn't play well. Both of them didn't look well at all. But Kenny Pickett's regressions were terrible, brutal.
Well, if they make the trade or not, I think Pittsburgh moves on from him. I think Pittsburgh has to go out and get a quarterback.
We'll see. We'll see if what they do there. But getting back to here, I think everybody had Kansas City. There was maybe one or two that we want. Hey, listen, I'd love to see somebody. I don't want to see Taylor Swift having a party on the field. That's the last thing I want to see. I'd like to see Kyle maybe win one. But what I want and what I think will happen are two different things. I'll stay by what I said. Kansas City wins this game. Toe?
I'm with Kansas City 100%. A lot of people like Kansas City here. Dave T. They'd have to trade backwards. They're not going to take Marvin Harrison 1 overall. No way. You can't do that. Dave T's writing Marvin Harrison, Tony. I would love to see Marvin Harrison, and I think he can make Justin Fields better with the Bears. But you can't take him at number 1. You got Caleb there. You got
yeah, we went through that last night. Yeah,
I don't see that happening. I don't see them doing a Keyshawn Johnson like the Jets did that year.
You know what, Dave? Next Wednesday night we're going to be doing our draft stuff in the mock again. I'll be making selections on the mock. Who knows? Maybe I could figure out a way where we could see if Marvin goes one to Chicago, how it would work. I don't know. We'll see that night. Maybe we'll make you make the picks. We said we want you to come up on one of those draft shows, right, Tone? Did we say that? We're going to give Dave a link.
Anybody can come up. I would love
anybody. Yeah, man. It's good fun. It's great exercise. It's great in all aspects of from the point of studying the game.
I would love
Anybody, yeah, man.
the women to come
Everybody.
up to ask
Our community
questions.
is awesome, bro. I love our community.
We
Love
got
it.
a great little group of people here, and I wouldn't trade
Love
it for
it.
anything.
Love
You
it.
know,
Just
there's
wanted
a lot
to.
of. I finally got into this draft stuff a little bit last night, and I started talking and thinking about it today. There's a lot of things that could happen with a lot of teams, including the 49ers who are playing in the Super Bowl if they get tanked on Sunday.
Absolutely. Nobody's thinking about that, but you brought that up. So by next draft show, which is Wednesday, every Wednesday, I might have some things on that because now you gave me some stuff to think about. But next week, the position group we'll be doing, I'll just say because we're talking about it, we'll be breaking down what we believe to be is like maybe the top 5 or 6 interior offensive linemen. It's not an exciting position, but that's where the game is won up front. So we'll go over some linemen next week. And as always, when we finish that up, we'll go right to a mock and do a 32-team mock.
Here's something didn't have a chance to talk to. I've been busy as shit down here with work everywhere. I want to put together a few different bets, and everybody pick one or the other Saturday night right after the fights. How's that sound?
Awesome.
The Super Bowl. That way we have something with excitement to
Yeah,
watch.
something exciting. Absolutely. And we're not promoting gambling. We're just having fun.
No, it's all for fun.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All for fun.
All right. Sounds good. So we got Jimmy tomorrow night, correct?
Yes, sir.
We got our Jimmy series tomorrow night, and we got 2 fights Saturday night, like promised. Sounds good, everybody? Tony, sounds good?
Sounds like a plan to me. And I'm going to just say, watch the show tomorrow night with Jimmy. We did a little bit more work on it this week, and it's going to be a hell of a lot better. With some pictures, maybe.
Yep. Well, yeah. Might surprise you with some pitches. All right. On that note, I want to thank everybody. I love you guys for all coming in. Every last one of you. Awesome show. Tony, I want to thank you. Great questions. Great analyzing stuff. Perspective, unbelievable. Makes me better. Makes me think more. I love it. I love it, man. It's awesome. Thank you all. See you all tomorrow night. Tony, talk to you later. Love you. Be well. Be safe. Take care of your families. Good, Tone? You good?
Thank you, everybody.